Oh! Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay, I'm not quite sure how this one didn't get reviewed before now. Oh yes, I do remember, because for a while I had so much of this shit that I got sick of it. So that should tell you right there that at the very least it's drinkable, okay? I guess it's an okay for a session beer. This is Alexander Keith's Red Amber Ale. 5% ABV, like all the other Keith's beers. This came out, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a bit longer now. And this is basically, well, they have another beer out, I noticed, and they have some others coming down the line, I guess, but they have a Staghead Stout or something like that they're just testing in bars right now, and hopefully they'll come out in bottles sometime soon. I've seen some pretty shitty reviews for it, but still I'm interested in trying it. So this is sort of an American style amber ale. At least that's what Beer Advocate says. And this is sort of what Alexander Keith's tried to pretend it is anyway. I don't know. They have a bad track record for labeling their beers. Okay, so anyway, I'll say this. It's my favorite bottle in the Keith's line anyway. The red and white and the gold colors just they go together better than the other their traditional ale and their regular IPA, quote unquote. Okay, and I even have the Alexander Keith's Red Amber Ale glass. It was given out as a promotional thing when they were first putting out the 12 packs of this stuff. It's a very shitty glass. I don't know if you can actually see on the thing, but it's poorly blown. It's not very well made. Just a cheap glass. And they're very hard to clean too if you let them sit for a while. It's really hard to get down in there and scrub out any nasties that sort of crust up down the bottom there. Okay, so as I said, 5.0 ABV. Okay. Neat kind of thing, right off the bat, is although this glass is a piece of crap, I don't know if you can actually see it, but there is a little gold line right here, and I guess that sort of shows where the head is supposed to end up, and it was pretty accurate. Nice little foamy head, definitely foamier than the traditional ale and the IPA. Again, quote unquote IPA. Okay, the color is nice. I'll say that for Keith's. It's definitely a sort of a darkish amber color. I'm going to hold it up to the light here and see. Yeah, it's definitely a darker amber with really nice red highlights. Definitely looks like a red ale, essentially. Perhaps a bit too dark for most red ales I've had, but it has enough red tinges there where the light comes through that it looks like one. So they've got that going for them anyway. We'll give it a little smell here now. Get the aroma. It's been a long time since I had this. I think I rated their traditional ale as my favorite Keith's. Can't remember now. I'd have to go back in my archive and look. After you go through so many beers, after a while you start to forget what you said about some beers, and that's another good thing of having all kinds of videos. At least I can reference my own bullshit. Okay, the smell's not too bad. It's actually it's probably got the finest aroma of all the Keith's beers. It has a very caramelly kind of aroma. And that's about it, actually. It's not complex or anything. It's just got a sort of a nice kind of mild sort of caramel kind of aroma to it. Doesn't have any sort of grainy smell like their so-called IPA has, which is really just a lager. So yeah, it actually smells like it might actually be an ale, so that's nice. It's nice for a change. So I'm going to give it a taste now. The head's starting to go down quite a bit. A little bit of lacing. If you can. Looks okay. It's definitely one. It's probably the most attractive of the Keith's beers so far, for physical appearance, anyway. There's some caramel sweetness there, and it's kind of bready. Maybe even sort of a buttered bread kind of taste there, but slight bitterness. It's also kind of watery and thin, and I'm sort of getting some metallic, sort of chemically enhanced kind of notes here at the very end, right at the back of the mouth after it's gone down. But overall, it's not that bad. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's a real red ale, at least not a craft brewed, microbrewed style red ale, even though that's probably what Keith's is shooting for, because they seem pretty desperate to really take a crack into the craft brew market, which has been eating up some business in the last 10 years. It's not bad. Like I said, when it first came out, I was buying so much of this stuff that I got sick of it, but yeah, the thing about Keith's beers is all of them have a sort of the same sort of typical underlying kind of metallic semi beer kind of taste to them, and they usually mask them with, you know, little slight tweaks here and there of flavor or whatever, and that's true with the Red Amber Ale. But it's actually not a bad beer. It's not horrible or anything. It's actually probably, now that I've revisited it, I might actually rate this higher than the traditional lager. I'd actually probably give this a 3 out of 5, to be honest. It's not great. You could do a lot better, but it's a very drinkable beer, kind of mild. Like I said, not exactly anything that's going to wow you. If you're a fan of craft brews and things like that, you're not going to find anything new or interesting here. But it's an okay for a session beer. It's an okay try at the style. It doesn't quite make it, but it's an okay commercial guzzling beer. It's a good party beer. It's not a sipping kind of ale. I suppose there's enough character in that to qualify it as an ale. So at least Keith's got some of the name right anyway this time. So yeah, Jesus, I'm already at 9 minutes for this review. Amazing. So Keith's Red Amber Ale, I'd actually give it a 3 out of 5. I actually, now that I've revisited it, I actually don't mind it too much. It's actually not a bad beer. So yeah, it's actually worth checking out.